Tamar Braxton and Mendeecees was tiptoeing around Atlanta together. Yandy Smith got word of it, found them.
And you doing all the fucking in the room. We had a flat, the wall separated my bed and your bed. I'm listening. I can't answer the phone for my boyfriend, and I'm listening.
What if I told you that the most explosive showdown of the year didn't come from a scripted reality TV episode, but from the raw, unfiltered chaos of Tamar Braxton's real life? Imagine Yandy Smith, a woman who built her entire brand on loyalty, love, and never letting anyone come for her marriage, suddenly breaking every boundary she once swore to uphold. Imagine her unleashing a fury so shocking that even the most jaded fans of love and hip-hop stopped in their tracks. And the target of that rage? None other than Tamar Braxton. Yes, Tamar, the singer, the survivor, the drama magnet who always seems to find herself in the middle of whispers and headlines, was caught at the very center of a rumor storm that left fans gasping. The whispers didn't just suggest messy texts or a shady DM. No, the jaw-dropping claim was that Tamar had hooked up with Yandy's husband, Mendeecees Harris. The streets were buzzing, blogs were foaming, and soon, the narrative took a darker turn. Reports swirled that Tamar ended the night not just bruised in reputation, but bruised in reality, bloodied, battered, and left in a condition so severe that even police had to storm the scene. Yandy, the loyal wife who had spent years protecting her family's image, suddenly had her name painted as an avenger. Was it jealousy? Was it betrayal? Or was it a desperate PR stunt spiraling out of control? Social media detectives began piecing the puzzle together as if it were the juiciest soap opera they had ever binged. Every new leak, every blurred clip, and every cryptic post only made the situation messier. But here's the thing, this wasn't just gossip. This was a scandal capable of redefining relationships, reputations, and even the reality TV industry itself. The night everything unraveled didn't begin with flashing lights or screaming headlines. It began, like so many scandals do, quietly inside a crowded Atlanta nightclub where the music was too loud, the bottles were too expensive, and the gossip was practically waiting to be born. The B12 Lounge was wall-to-wall packed that Friday night, the kind of evening where celebrities brush shoulders with fans and every corner feels like a future headline in the making. And right there, in the middle of it all, stood Tamar Braxton and Mendeecees Harris. This wasn't casual networking. Tamar wasn't just greeting a promoter, and Mendeecees wasn't simply passing through. Multiple people who claim they were in the room swear the two looked locked in, whispering, laughing too closely, leaning into one another as if the thundering bass was their excuse to create a private bubble of intimacy. One witness even described Tamar leaning against him like she was too comfortable to care who was watching, while another swore that Mendeecees leaned right back, meeting her energy without hesitation. But here's the unspoken rule of Atlanta nightlife. Nothing stays secret for long. Every club has three constants: cameras, bloggers, and opportunists ready to sell a story before the DJ spins his last track. By midnight, blurry clips were already circling online. Tamar was smiling too wide. Mendeecees was leaning too close. Fans were captioning it all with side eyes and flame emojis. And if you know Tamar, you know she thrives in the spotlight. But this wasn't Tamar being messy on a reality show. This was Tamar being messy in Yandy's territory. Let's not forget, Yandy Smith has built her entire image on being the loyal wife. She stood firm through Mendeecees' prison time, weathered rumors, faced down Instagram trolls, and swore time and again that her marriage was unshakable. She clapped back at women online, brushed off side chick rumors, and filled her grid with love conquers all selfies more times than fans could count. She wasn't just married to Mendeecees, her reputation was married to him too. Which is why the storm that followed Tamar's whispers was nothing short of catastrophic. By 1 o'clock in the morning, Tamar left the club. But she didn't leave alone. Eyewitnesses claim she walked out with Funky Dineva, her longtime friend and close associate. He was apparently set to drive her home. But here's where the story takes a turn. Mendeecees followed. Witnesses insist it wasn't coincidence, nor was it casual timing. He allegedly trailed her car like a shadow. And when Tamar reached her home, the drama didn't end at the curb. Funky later claimed there was a small after-party with Tamar, Mendeecees, and a few others stepping inside. What happened behind those doors remains the biggest mystery of the night. Hours later, Tamar was found bloodied and barely conscious, swollen face, missing teeth, and injuries that screamed something far more violent than a mere accident. Tamar's official story painted the incident as a tragic mishap, but fans weren't buying it. The timeline was far too messy. Tamar leaves the club with Mendeecees, ends up battered, and cops arrive at the scene? The internet didn't see an accident. They saw payback. And all eyes turned to Yandy. Why Yandy? Because her track record is clear. When it comes to her marriage, she doesn't play. On Love and Hip Hop, she has defended Mendeecees against scandal after scandal, even going as far as claiming shady DMs were her doing just to shield him. Castmates mocked her, fans doubted her, but she always stood firm. So, when Tamar ended up battered on the same night she was spotted with Mendeecees, it wasn't hard for the public to imagine Yandy snapping. And to make matters worse, just days before this chaos, Yandy and Mendeecees were on Instagram celebrating her birthday with heartfelt captions, romantic tributes, and family-filled dinners. He called her his foundation, his everything. The kind of post that screams, "We are unshakable." So when Tamar was spotted at the club with him days later, then landed in the hospital, the internet didn't chalk it up to coincidence. They saw cause and effect. The scandal snowballed at lightning speed. Fans dissected every photo, every video, every cryptic caption. Twitter blew up with theories. One viral tweet declared, "Yandy beat up Tamar because she was messing with her husband." Period. Another pointed out the sirens, the flashing lights, and the suspiciously vague police report. Something's being covered up. And then came the whispers of damage control. Tamar's team allegedly pushed her music video release earlier than planned, conveniently featuring Mendeecees. Fans saw it as an obvious attempt to flip the script. But stunts can't outpace the internet. By now, hashtags like #Yandy vs. Tamar and #Mendeecees mess were trending. TikTok creators stitched blurry footage with dramatic narration, while blogs pumped out headlines like, "From love and hip-hop to crime scene drama." Theories only grew wilder when Funky Dineva spoke out. Furious at being dragged into the mess, he accused Tamar of silence, saying she let fans blame him without ever clearing his name. His frustration painted Tamar in a suspicious light. If her own friend didn't trust her story, why should anyone else? Meanwhile, Tamar stayed vague, posting about healing and moving on without ever addressing what really happened that night. But in the world of gossip, silence often screams louder than denial. That's when the alleged audio leak hit the internet. A scratchy, 2-minute clip supposedly recorded outside Tamar's neighborhood captured a woman shouting, "Keep my husband's name out your mouth," followed by muffled screams and sirens. Whether authentic or not didn't matter. Fans immediately decided it was Yandy's voice. More so-called evidence poured in. A grainy photo of a black SUV outside Tamar's house, matched by online detectives to Yandy's car. A neighbor claiming to hear shouting before the cops arrived. Suddenly, the narrative was cemented. Yandy had snapped, Tamar had paid the price, and Mendeecees was at the rotten center. As the storm intensified, Yandy finally broke her silence with an Instagram Live. Calm, collected, and borderline dismissive, she said, "Y'all are really bored. I was at home with my kids that night. Stop playing with my family." She didn't mention Tamar by name, nor did she address the alleged fight. But by then, fans had already decided her silence was guilt. Memes flooded the internet. Yandy photoshopped into boxing rings, Tamar in hospital beds, and Mendeecees looking confused between them. Mendeecees only made things worse with cryptic posts like, "Not everything is what it seems," and "Focus on what matters, not the noise." Fans dragged him instantly. "Sir, you're the noise," one comment read. His refusal to clear the air painted him as the shady centerpiece of a love triangle gone wrong. The scandal ballooned beyond gossip blogs into talk shows, news outlets, and panel debates. Even other Love and Hip Hop cast members threw shade online, with one tweeting, "Wouldn't surprise me if somebody finally snapped." A fake but convincing police report surfaced, suggesting Tamar was the victim of assault by a female suspect she knew. Even though it was later debunked, fans didn't care. In their eyes, it confirmed the story. The fallout hit reputations, finances, and careers. Tamar's brand deals reportedly paused. Yandy's nonprofit faced backlash. Mendeecees' sneaker collaboration disappeared without explanation. What had started as whispers in a nightclub spiraled into a scandal threatening livelihoods. Through it all, the ambiguity kept fans hooked. Was Tamar truly attacked or exaggerating? Did Yandy really pull up, or was it just rumor? Was Mendeecees guilty of cheating or simply guilty of bad timing? The internet didn't care about facts. They cared about perception. And perception said Tamar was bloodied, Yandy was an avenger, and Mendeecees was the scandalous prize. In the end, no one came out clean. Tamar was stamped as a victim who might be playing it up. Yandy was stamped as a woman who couldn't control her rage. And Mendeecees was stamped as the man who let two women burn while he watched in silence. The internet, of course, immortalized it all in memes, screenshots, and hashtags. And that's the cruel truth about modern scandals. They never die.